Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and remember to subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon. This may seem obvious now I say it, but surely Giga Berlin will also be making this new medium-range Model Y with 270 miles of range. Giga Berlin will start with the 2170 versions of the Model Y, which will be the long range and performance. And I'm now of the belief that Tesla will continue to use the 2170 batteries for the long range and performance versions. I think Tesla have flipped the script, at least until perhaps they have their own in-house LFP batteries. In the meantime, I'm anticipating these medium-range 4680 vehicles to be the main vehicle that comes out of Berlin. Tesla just need to get their 4680 factory completed there first, then everything falls in the timeline. The roadmap seems perfect. For now, Tesla will keep ramping up the 2170 battery production. These batteries are supplied from LG in Korea, not Panasonic and Giga Nevada. They were previously being used in Giga Shanghai, but Tesla have actually stopped producing the long-range version of the Model 3 in Shanghai and just producing the LFP standard range. Tesla are also doubling down on the standard range Model Y due to such an influx of LFP batteries, courtesy of CATL. In addition to that, Tesla moved the Model 3 standard range in the US to LFP batteries too, instead of 2170. With all these moves, then Tesla have freed up a lot of supply of 2170 batteries. And this has had me thinking for some time, how will Tesla have a tidy product mix with various sorts of batteries? I was struggling to get my head around it. I hoped there'd simply be an option to order a 4680 version of the Model Y and you pay a bit extra. But all of this was because we had been told that 4680 batteries were going to be used solely for long-range vehicles, at least recently. But if you ignore this, then suddenly everything falls into place, and it's all so tidy. Admittedly, it's not what I want as a consumer. From a consumer perspective, I would love a 4680 high-performance Model 3. But from the perspective of the overall mission that aligns perfect with how do we get as many EVs out as fast as possible, this would be how. This is how I see the future of the product mix for Tesla. Shanghai will mainly focus on the low-cost Teslas. They're able to get such low costs due to such abundance of LFP batteries. The LFP batteries are also made locally, very locally, now actually almost next door, compared to the US standard range Model 3 that has to ship these very heavy batteries from Shanghai to California, which adds a lot of expense. Added to that, all the other cost savings of manufacturing in China, and you're left with a low-cost Tesla. The Shanghai Model Y specifications have also been wound down, and the Model Y Standard has a range of just 230 miles and is only rear-wheel drive. The Asian market is more accepting of lower-range EVs, and it's still a much longer range than any of the competition can offer. It's more important to get a lower price for the Asian markets than longer range. I think, as a result, Berlin will continue to use 2170 batteries for the Model Y performance and long-range versions. And then, I think, when the 4680 battery factory in Berlin is operational, they will introduce this medium-range Model Y there also. This car is so important, it is going to sell so well. It is going to sell in the millions, in Europe alone. Remember, we de-sandbagged the production capacity of Berlin recently and realized that Tesla should be more than capable of producing well over 1 million vehicles a year just from that one fab, with 3 more additional fabs still to come, although only 2 are rumoured to be car factories. I think Fremont will stay exactly how it is currently for the Model Y, solely selling the 2170 long range and performance. Due to the scarcity of 2170 batteries and the fact there is now a lower version of the Model Y, Tesla may even raise the prices for the long range and performance. It would also make this new Model Y appear better value. Giga Nevada is much closer to Fremont than Texas. Therefore, it would be more cost-effective to transport these batteries to Fremont rather than Texas. Although there is still the Cato Road facility, which is very close to the Fremont factory. Well, there's around 10 to 20 gigawatt hours of batteries potentially being produced there. That's not nothing. Possibly up to about 250,000 vehicles a year. Well, obviously they could be transported to Texas, but that is quite a cost. I think it might be possible they'll be used for the semi-truck. Perhaps Tesla want to go slow with the semi-truck and keep it limited routes to start with on popular highways. Why? Because these trucks use specialized chargers up to 2 megawatts because they have such large batteries. There aren't really any other charging options. Therefore, Tesla will need to build an additional charging infrastructure for the semi-trucks. This will take time to build out. I think this might be the right approach to just slowly build out the semi-truck business. And we were even hearing about Pepsi semi-trucks receiving orders last year. Then this brings us to Texas. I think this is the money machine. Print out as many of these new medium-range Model Ys as they can. If Tesla can hit 250 gigawatt hours a year production of 4680 batteries, and these Model Ys only need 40 kilowatt hour batteries, well, that's over 6 million vehicles a year just from this one factory. Funnily enough, I do have a sneaky suspicion that this is in line with the true capacity of Texas. But in the meantime, it would appear that Tesla are producing long-range versions currently at the Texas factory. Is it possible these may be limited edition to some very lucky owners, as Tesla didn't charge any extra for them compared to the 2170 versions, just whilst Tesla get their batteries ramped up in the meantime? Of course, you would now have to purchase FSD to likely get one of these in time. Elon said that the Model Y will be the best-selling car in the world. Now, when the world was functioning at something closer to normality, wow, remember when that was a thing? In 2018, Toyota sold 1.9 million Corollas. A lot of people infer that this would mean that if Tesla dethroned the Corolla as the top-selling vehicle, then it would be of a similar number, perhaps 2 million sales a year. But Elon clearly said the Model Y would beat the Corolla. Therefore, it could be 3 million units a year sold. Or could it even be 5 million? To reach that number of sales, then Tesla would probably need to get their prices lower again. There could be a rear-wheel drive version to come from these factories too, which I would say will be likely within time. But even if the Model Y was at a lower cost as $40,000 each, that's still not affordable for everyone, or as it would at least appear on the surface. I think Tesla should educate the market as to the true cost of ownership of such a vehicle, and most car buyers would be surprised to discover it costs less to own a Tesla than it does a Corolla. Besides, almost everyone can afford a $40,000 car if they really wanted, and made sacrifices elsewhere. Perhaps one less bedroom on your house. At least the kids can hang out in the Tesla and watch Netflix. It's almost an extra living room, but you can't drive a bedroom. And then there's all the uncertainty of gas prices anyway. On top of that, the Model 3 could also outsell the Corolla as well. In addition to that, Tesla may bring out an equivalent for the Model 3, perhaps a 300-mile range version with the same battery pack. I know the Model Y does take a lot of the limelight, but don't underestimate the 3. It's a phenomenal car and still sells very well. It's just that Tesla can make more profit selling Model Ys, and the market is willing to spend that much more extra on an SUV than a sedan. For example, consumers might think that an SUV has $5,000 more value to them than a sedan, but it may only cost Tesla an additional $2,000 to make a Model Y over a Model 3. That would mean that Tesla profit an additional $3,000 for every Model Y they sell over a Model 3, and this is the reason the Model 3 has taken the back seat. I think within time there will be LFP batteries on the Texas and Berlin sites, and that Tesla's LFP versions are energy-dense enough to replace these 4680 batteries and still achieve the same range. Then the 4680 batteries can be used in Cybertruck and semi-trucks. Yes, another reason the Cybertruck isn't coming out soon. The 4680 batteries are now earmarked for some time for Tesla's largest selling vehicle. There's so much opportunity cost setting up Cybertruck production, which will result in fewer Model Ys and 3s being produced. If you recall, Elon had spoken about having fewer batteries in the cars too, keeping the batteries more in the centre, thus improving handling and also safety. Battery production is part of the plan. I think now charging infrastructure has improved so much, especially in some areas, that range anxiety is barely a thing anymore. The standard range Model 3 outsells the long range, implying that there are enough consumers who are happy to accept a Tesla with this level of range. It means Tesla can get that many more cars on the road that much faster. I think this product mix makes the most sense to me, and it keeps everything tidy. As many of you know, I've been curious as to how the 4680 would join the product mix, but I wasn't expecting them to be used in a more standard range version. Now I hope this is what happens as an investor and in support of the mission. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.